Hi, this is Stan. Welcome back to the Crow's Nest Railroad. Except we're on the road today. We're back in Bob's shop, and we've got an exciting couple of projects to show you. First of all, I want you to see Tim's locomotive. He just got back from Train Mountain, had an awesome time up there. So let's say hi to Tim and get him to explain what this locomotive is. Now, what kind of a locomotive is it? It is right now propane fired, but that's a conversion. And so what type of locomotive is it? Give us a little history.
It is a Winton consolidation built in the 70s. That started out as propane, went to oil, coal. Now back to propane.
So, Bob, point us out here what's going on.
Sure. Alright, so we're looking at the ball valve here. That's this device here, this T-shaped element. I've got an elbow here that connects with a pipe union to this steam inlet line. I'm going to take that off now because we're going to go ahead and replace this entire assembly. So I've already got the bolt removed from that and the bolt removed from the handle. So I'm going to just take that handle off, and then I'm going to unscrew this ball valve from the pipe that delivers steam to the cylinders. Now this is a little different in that this one pipe splits inside the saddle and goes to each side of the locomotive. More contemporary locomotives would use a separate line through the side of the smoke box into each cylinder. So this is a little older generation, and they made that T-joint in the center of that saddle. So this is the ball valve, the old, this is the ball valve, the new. They're nicely sized, they match in size and length. So we're going to go ahead and put this guy in here, make a new handle because the handle just didn't quite match with the new handle, and then we'll finish the rest of the elbow and the union, and we'll be done replacing this ball valve for the locomotive.
So I guess this is called a split smoke box?
Stan, that's correct. What we've done here, we've taken the normal tube of the front of the boiler, which is called the smoke box. This is the back of the flue. It's the front flue sheet, and these copper tubes are rolled with a special tapered roller into this flue sheet. So this is actually the end of the pressure portion of the boiler.
So it's hot water and steam up in this.
Hot water and steam on the back side of this. Through here flows the hot gases from the combusted propane, and they enter this chamber with this tube. Now this is a little unique, and it's a very clever solution to a tough problem. Getting inside this tube to do all this piping is an impossibility, and it's what invented many of the cuss words currently used today by the steam locomotive railroading community. So a bright genius at one point said, why don't we split these, take the top half off, and then we can easily access all the piping, and we put the top half back on, put the front smoke box on, and we're good to go.
Yeah, so mine is all or nothing. You have to pull the whole smoke box off.
It's an ugly job. So what we have here, this is the rod from the throttle in the cab. Obviously this is the new lever to the ball valve that we just installed. Now in this case the ball valve has a 90-degree elbow to a pipe union. This pipe union is modified temporarily for the purposes of compressed air and running the locomotive to time it to a quick disconnect here to our compressor air line. Normally this L fitting here is gone, and this unit right here swings around and it connects to the steam line that comes from the top of the steam dome. So this line actually runs all the way through the boiler and makes a 90-degree and comes up to the top of a dome inside this piece here. So that being the case, we can see that we have steam coming here from the generating of the boiler steam in through this union, in through this valve, and this valve is controlled by the throttle lever and on into this one pipe that heads into the saddle. And in the saddle, which is the portion below this tube, it splits to each side of the cylinder. And this is a more older style, the more contemporary locomotives the split occurs up here in the smoke box where you can get to all the fittings, and they go in through the side of the smoke box tube and into the cylinders themselves.
Now this is where the exhaust from the cylinders comes out, right?
That's correct. Now you've raised a good point. What we do is to encourage the exhausts coming through the stack, which sits right over this with a small petticoat, a small tapered tube pointing directly down at this exhaust stand. So the exhaust comes out of this little half-inch hole, blasts out of there, and is encouraged along the way with what we call a blower. Now this is just a copper steam line, copper quarter-inch copper line wrapped around here with holes drilled around the perimeter of this copper line. And that air, or in this case steam, comes straight up into this petticoat or this tapered tube, and it helps guide and control and move the exhaust out of this tube hole, I will say, up through the stack itself. So this whole ensemble works together. Every time there's an exhaust chuff, it comes through this tube up into the venturi in the stack. It is assisted by this ring, which is continually providing steam into that exhaust flow and up into the stack. So while each side gets an exhaust blast, this tube is continually running all the time, and you can adjust the volume of that for encouraging draft through these tubes. So we can adjust the vacuum in this front portion of the locomotive by more or less adjusting blower pressure. More air coming through here keeps a stronger draft up through the stack, pulls more combusted air through the throughs themselves.
So, and we're going to get to see this thing run on air today, so that's awesome.
Right now, that's right. We're going to time the locomotive on one side, and then we're going to check the timing on the other side.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob.
Yep. All right. So, Tim, let's see if we have a forward motion. Now. All right, that's good.
Well, I want to say thanks so much for watching this week. I'm going to let Tim and Bob keep working on the locomotive. We got some great footage of this thing running on fairly low pressure, so it should even be more responsive when it gets up to steam pressure. So I'm going to say thanks so much. Hope you can join me next time, and we're going to go out with just the steam locomotive running on air. See you.